Hi, my name is Logan, and this is Noah, and today we'll be talking about Fishpicker Productions. So I guess we can start off by talking about how we started making films and how we actually met each other. I guess you can start out how you got into filmmaking.
Yeah, so I mostly started, or I began as a kid, and had basic storytelling stuff. I just have a camera, and then I'd have toys, and then I'd just like make a story with all the stuff that I had. And eventually, I started discovering these new things about video production that interested me because I always wanted to make stories and tell people stories and such and such. And I think my first legitimate video was a stop motion animation. It was like a Lego thing, and I just moved the Legos one piece at a time, and eventually, they look like they're moving. I'm sure you've seen stuff like that before. But then I really got serious about filmmaking around middle school. They had a class specifically for video production. It was called Digital Media Arts. So basically, they explored the realm of video production as a whole. Editing, directing, mostly broadcasting. TV and news was something that they did a lot. So I was interested in editing and creating a story through that. Creating my own videos. So eventually I met with him. Him and I had very similar interests, telling stories, creating videos, and stuff like that. He wasn't in DMA, if I recall.
No, I was not, because I was forced upon the ideals of band and gym. So I really wasn't able to get into the DMA class. I wanted to start to go to DMA on my last year, but they really weren't accepting applicants that are, they would rather pick the ones that are a lot more traversed on that, those expertise. And then by the time high school rolled around, I had the choice of doing a DMA class, but I decided just to get all of the actual credits I needed, like language and health and PE, out of the way, so I can spend my last 2 years with stuff that I actually wanted to do. So at the end of the year, at the end of high school, I can actually focus on the stuff that I want to do. So I've started DMA in my junior year. He started in middle school, so he has actually more experience time-wise.
Yeah, you'd be surprised though how repetitive it sometimes gets. Eventually, they just start teaching and reteaching the same things over again. And him and I noticed this because we got into the video production thing early. Around middle school is when we got together and started making videos on our own. And you kind of notice that they reteach some things because not all students are at the same level. So sometimes you're just stuck while you're waiting for other people to kind of go along with you, and that's good and all. But it was kind of slow for us at the beginning, but gradually we started being able to do more.
Yeah, what really kicked it off was when we actually met in middle school. We got assignments from our teacher. It was writing, and no one enjoyed writing paragraphs. So we were like, hey, it wouldn't be fun to make some videos for our classes, because I've done some videos by myself beforehand for my classes, but that was actually because our teacher told us to. And what actually really sparked my interest was because somehow my video was better than everybody else's. So I was like, yes, I'm finally better than some people. So that's what made it a whole lot more interesting. But then later on, when Noah and I started making more and more films, we started to realize we don't have to be restricted by our school. We can do this by ourselves at home and make stories that we want to do.
Yeah.
Because in his situation, DMA, they have a lot of lines that you can't cross.
Yeah, the DMA had a lot of red tape. Because basically what would happen with our specific DMA class, very similar to a lot of other technology DMA classes that you may see in middle schools and high schools, where basically the broadcasting program, they give like news for the schools, for the entire school, and they'll broadcast it to the entire school, and basically it's shown to every class. So it's this whole production process basically to teach you how a broadcasting, like a news company, would run. So there was obviously a lot of red tape because they were scared of offending certain people and such. We couldn't show certain things because we didn't know if someone would be affected by that or anything like that. So that kind of put me off because I wanted to do a lot of different things, and when I came and gave these ideas to my teacher, he was like, nah, can't happen. All that red tape, and I hated that red tape. And so eventually he and I came together, and that's basically where we formed Fishpicker Productions, is through that kind of urge to
creative freedom.
Yeah, creative freedom, that independent creativity, to expand ourselves. And I guess that kind of goes in the next topic of
what Fishpicker Productions is.
What we are.
Yeah, so we originally started Fishpicker Productions. I guess you can say we really didn't start until we realized our actual potential. We were starting to make short films and parodies as jokes for like our entertainment, and occasionally share it with our family and friends. But it came across when one day I was watching a YouTube video, and they were making jokes about a film production names, and Noah was listening to Mr. Science Theater, and there was what was it, Hobgoblins?
Yeah, so there's an episode in Mr. Science Theater. If you've ever seen Mr. Science Theater, basically like this riffing thing, they make fun of bad movies, and they'll sit in front of it and make fun of it. But there's a specific episode for the movie Hobgoblins. If you've never seen it, it's really funny. But there's this specific scene in Hobgoblins where it's like this band at this nightclub, and they're singing a song, and you can never really tell what they're singing, but there's a specific word that they keep repeating, and to the Mystery Science Theater cast, it sounds like Fishpicker, and so they're making a joke about their lyrics being Fishpicker, and they were like repeating that over and over again. We thought that was kind of funny, and then we made the connection. We're like, hey, Fishpicker, there you go. Very simple. We didn't have to overthink the title. It was just there. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah, and then we started to elaborate on our filmmaking processes, where we were originally thinking about parodies and whatnot, but we started to want to move on to a bigger scale, more so film-wise. So we started getting film ideas during, I think it was 2000. We started 2013 on film ideas in the fact, but they were small ones, and we started gradually getting bigger until you started making actual scripts, and that's when we came across The World Below and Beta File 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess once we've decided on what film we wanted to do, we're like, okay, so this is gonna be pretty serious. Why don't we get some actors together? So we started to make those films, and I guess later on we realized after a couple of our films, the film production, since we start at such a young age, we wanted to be better than everybody, to be the best filmmakers of our class. So our Fishpicker Productions is, I guess you can say, a test channel almost.
Yeah, like a test to expand ourselves in a way, I guess you could say, to kind of see, what works in films and what doesn't work in our films. And it's kind of like a trial and error almost.
Yeah, so we learn by our mistakes, and from our latest films to our newer ones, you can slowly see improvements not only in the acting but lighting, audio, editing,
just quality overall,
script. I mean, by the time of our last film, we definitely increased our time on preparation. We've gotten it down to a science where we can go do a scene and then get out and we'll be done on time. We don't have to worry about having to do another day. So we've gotten to a part where now we are prepared. So we have to look at our other things, especially on lighting. Our last film, it did not have its moments with lighting or audio. So what we did to improve that was we actually bought some new equipment to increase the lighting for that, and also we've met with a screenwriter who was very helpful, Jeffrey D. Calhoun from WeFixYourScript.com. He helped us and showed us a few things about screenwriting and also camera angles, teaching us about it's a part of films are mainly visual, but not that, but also dialogue based too. So it's a big visual medium. So he taught us a lot about filming in that perspective, and that also increased our skill in that as well.
Yeah, so I think, just overall, that's basically the main idea of Fishpickers is just a tool. Fishpickers is a tool for us to expand ourselves, and when we eventually get out into the field, we'll have already known a majority of the stuff that we're supposed to know, which will help a lot, getting out there early and knowing all those things that you probably wouldn't know until you get out there, and I think another thing that we can pride ourselves on in this production company is just the power of simplicity, and how everything we do, everything we use is very simplistic. We do everything cheap, and I think we still manage to get good production out of the stuff that we use. A lot of people I know make the mistake of buying all these crazy rigs and this expensive equipment, thinking that it's going to make their video 100 times better, and little do they know they could just make something exactly like that rig on their own and have the exact same kind of production quality. So we kind of do everything almost guerrilla, I guess you could say.
Homemade. Occasionally we do have to buy equipment like lighting and audio. Obviously, we're not technicians, so
we're not savages.
Yeah. So we make most of our props. We make most of our props. If we need to make something better, we try to do it mainly in production than post, because whilst you're in post, you're more so limited, and it doesn't look as I guess you can say beautiful at the end. But when, say, you do have a mess up with the prop in production and at least you tried with it, you can at least go in post. But if you just do it in post, you can't go back in pre-production or production.
Yeah, practicality is usually better than post. But I think another thing we can pride ourselves on as well is our independence along the lines of things like special effects we do on our own, and music we do on our own. We make our own music almost all the time. Actually, all the time. I don't think we've ever had I don't think any of our songs that have been in our films have been made by someone else. We've made virtually every single song that's been in our movies, which I think is pretty cool. We're currently working on music for our upcoming film, getting more live instruments and stuff like that. So that's just another aspect of Fishpickers, is our independence, to be able to operate on our own without the help of, like online remedies, finding something on the internet, that looks good or that sounds good, and then putting that in our film. It's good to kind of make everything organic by itself.
So I guess we can now talk on the future of Fishpicker Productions, along the lines of what we hope to achieve, and what else are we going to gain from these new experiences.
Yeah. So basically, our plan is to, we have a couple more films coming up, a couple more final films before we, graduate and go into college. And these films are basically our big bangs in production quality. We're hoping that they're as good as possible, beyond possible. So basically, once we finish that, we're going to college. Fishpickers might still be around by the time we go into college unless we create something new. That's possible. But we will still be creating content even after graduation.
I guess along the lines of the future for Fishpicker Productions, we are trying to achieve a form of professionalism with our new website, which most of you will be watching on at www.fishpickerproductions.com. We're trying to go for almost a film production, yet I guess a meeting site for our actors. We have our forms to fill out if you want to be an actor, a musician, a writer, or anything to help out our films. We have forms for that. For parents, we have phone numbers, emails, or you can just contact us straight out onto the website. We have a little bit about ourselves, and obviously this video talking about ourselves and our news section and all of our films with the calendar included, so people can see our filming times and when we're going to be filming or editing or postpones or any changes. So having that form of professionality when we go to, say, film festivals and we place in films, we can just hand out our website, and if people are interested, they can look on and look at our content, look at our improvements, and maybe they can see how professional we are and how serious we actually take this.
Yeah. Alright, so that sums up our video for today. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you continue to enjoy all the films that we make in the future. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.